did a thousands, the column.
Yeah. Okay, so here to here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Your decimal's called in groups of 3, starting from here over. Okay? Okay. Good.
Who is confident and wants to show their work? Laura seems confident.
No, I said I wasn't before people make fun of my answers.
No, you come up and redeem yourself.
I did it differently than everyone else, so I did it across. Instead of down.
Same difference.
Let's go, Laura.
I checked your answer, right?
Yeah.
Well, then I'm confident. So tell us what you did and how you did it and why.
You're going from a large unit to a small unit to a multiply. Then you took 4 steps, so you're going to add 4 zeros.
Okay.
Or multiply by 10 4.
Perfect. Got it? Fabulous. Fabulous. All right. So, what you need to know, where you start, where you end, how many steps you're taking, and since I'm going this way, big to little multiply. We got it, right? Perfect. Now let's tackle this next problem. 480 grams is how many kilograms? Guess what? It works the exact same way, except when you go big to little, you multiply. So when you go little to big, you are
Dividing.
see it did it. I just like, no, that didn't work as it. All right, so we're dividing. Guess by what number?
10.
How many numbers do you have to remember? 1. So when you go down, you multiply by 10. When you divide, you go up. So I'm starting at 480 grams, and I'm taking steps up to kilograms. So I'm taking 1 step up, 2 steps up, 3 steps up. This is slightly more complicated because division is slightly more complicated than multiplication for most people. So if I take 480 and divide it by 10, it becomes what? 48. And 48 divided by 10 is 4 8/10. And if I take 4 8/10 and divide by 10, it's going to become
0.48.
48 hundredths, right? Is that what you had? Yes? So that's how I would start teaching it. After I'm sure students are understanding that, then we would talk about just moving the decimal. But when we get to talking about multiplication and division of decimals, I'm going to rock your world because I was always taught, and I always taught, that when you're dividing by decimals, you move the decimal. You know what I'm saying? There's this math that students use, Eureka math or whatever else it's called. It's called like 10, 20 different things. They don't multiply by moving the decimal. They move the numbers. What? But we'll get to that. So, yeah, here we go. 1, 2, 3 steps. Here's the decimal. I need to move it over once, twice, 3 times. That's why it's 48 hundredths. And by the way, I prefer you not say 0.48. I'd rather you call it what it is, 48 hundredths. Okay? Let's try another one. You want an easy one or a hard one?
Hard.
Oh, man.
Dude.
They give it up.
Natasha.
Counting on y'all saying easy. All right. millimeters is how many hectometers? Yes, yes, yes.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't put it in the.
Who's confident? Who's confident? Come, confidence, girl.
So we're going to 2,500 millimeters to hectometers. So we're going to be dividing.
We are.
We're going from big to little.
Little to big.
Or, yeah, little to big. So we're going to start at millimeters, which is all the way down here. So you can go from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you divide 10 5 times. So another way you can do it is you go 2,500, you go decimals here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You add a 0, and then that's your answer. You got 0.02, you got 25 thousandths.
Good.
Hectometers.
Good, very good. All right, so a couple of things. If I were teaching this to elementary students and I said, where's the decimal point here in 2,500? You know where it is. You know it's here. But if you ask an elementary student, where is the decimal in 2,500? Most likely, they'll tell you here. And you're like, what? No? And they say, oh, well, is it here? No. Well, is it here? No. They have no clue. So don't assume they know what you're talking about. Don't assume that they have a basic grasp of place value, because they don't. What you need to always start off with is, since this is the ones place, here is the decimal, and we're going to work from there. In my years of teaching, I'm always amazed, sometimes I'm amazed by what my students do know, and a lot of times I'm amazed by what they do not know. So just because something is really, really familiar to you, don't assume it's familiar to your students, because it may not be. Okay, we are, let's see. Do you need to practice, or can we move? Okay, because I don't think we have time to practice. All right. What do Liberia, Burma, and the United States have in common? Liberia is a little bitty country off the coast of West Africa. By the way, it is the country that after the Civil War and before the Civil War, they had this mindset, and I say they, I mean the people that lived in the United States, that black people and white people could not live together in a society at all. So what they proposed was, when the slaves were free, they would send them all back to Africa, and they could